Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's episode of Killing Millions to Make Millions. This is the first episode, but the second volume. I call it Expose 2. And today we are going to be talking about more on intentional poisoning. In the previous episodes, we talked about when poison comes home, and then the different types of poisons in foods, poisons in drinks, why people are poisoned, and the rest of them. If you have not gone or you have not watched that particular episode, I have included the link in the description section. You can go and search and watch, because that is the background to what we are going to be saying today. For today, we are going to talk about how to handle poison cases at home. We had talked about the different forms that poison can come and the rest in the previous episode. So if you watch and follow, you will be updated to this point. But at this time, we are going to look at what to do. What if the hospital is far away? How you can handle poison cases at home. How you can prepare an anti-poison at home. And how you can administer an anti-poison. So this is very important. You must not miss this. Except you do not see the possibility that you can get poisoned. But I believe that anybody, if you watch the previous episode, volume 1, you will find out that anybody can get poisoned for any reason. So it is just important that you follow this step by step. Do not miss a line so that you don't miss something important. And then please don't forget to subscribe. Please hit the subscription button so that you can also assist us. And then you can also be getting very more educating episodes of these videos as soon as we drop them. And then like, share, so that you can help people around the world. You don't know who will need this more than you do. So please subscribe, like, share, and if you have any question, I am there in the comment section to attend to you. All right. So the common poisons, we are going to talk about the common poisons and how they work. We're going to talk about how to prepare poison antidotes at home. We're going to talk about how to administer, and then the do's and the don'ts of intentional poison, and then other relevant information. Now let's go. Remember, we are talking about intentional poison and how to deal with it at home. We have said that intentional poison is the deliberate acts of adding harmful substance to someone's food or drink with the aim of causing harm, causing disability, or causing death. That is to say, not all intentional poisoning can lead to death, but most at times the intention is to cause death. So in many communities of the world, this has become so alarming. Maybe there is a family problem, maybe there is land dispute, maybe there is jealousy among peers, maybe somebody wants to take a revenge, maybe spiritual, whatever. Even prison inmates are eliminated by poisons, inhaled poisons, by government. So unlike accidental ingestion that we discussed in the last volume, intentional poison is premeditated and it is always silent without warning. And some case studies have revealed that people have been poisoned for the following reasons: either domestic quarrels, or belief in supernatural, community or neighborhood reverence, even business betrayals, even in romance and relationships. Husband can poison wife, wife can poison husband, boyfriend poison girlfriend. The same case is particular case that happened in Eket. Boyfriend poisoned girlfriend, girlfriend poisoned. These things are all over. And of course, where you come from, you must have seen one or two examples. So intentional poison. Friends can poison another friend in a joint. Even in the church, people poison people by communion. So these are intentional poisons. Please, you can get to volume 1, the previous episode, and get different examples of this. Now, let's go to the main point. Okay, I am going to use the Nigerian case, common types of poisons that people give to people. Please, pay attention. This table you are seeing contains a lot of things, and I'm going to explain them step by step. Okay? The first common type of poison is rodenticides. Rodents. These are supposed to be medicines that are used to kill rats, that are used to kill rodents. Okay? Like sniper, like alum, like zinc phosphide. But somehow, if somebody uses this as a poison, depending on the dose, it can cause internal bleeding. And after continuous internal bleeding, it can lead to organ failure. And perhaps it can lead to death. Or it can lead to, remember we said harm, disability, or death. So after enough intentional bleeding can lead to organ failure. What if your liver fails? What if your kidney fails? What if the lungs fails? Then of course, disability or death. Now, caustic soda, this is a soap making chemical. And if it is added in something as a poison, it causes corrosive burns to the stomach lining. Of course, that can also cause organ failure. Now, worst of all, battery acids. You know that battery that they use in driving cars? The battery water, or the acid from dry cells or wet cells. These acids are highly corrosive, and so if they are added to your food or your drinks, it causes fatal chemical burns and convulsions. What about pesticides? This is not supposed to be here. Kmtmm 20 is supposed to be under whatever rodenticide. I just had to put it here. This one is used in killing fishes. Okay, catching fishes, very many number in the hand. So you know about Kmtmm 20, Kmtmm 40, or whatever. Otapiapia. And then this one causes neurological failure and directly leads to death. Otapiapia, rat poison. Neurological, it fails the nerves. Once the nerves fail, they cannot do their function, it leads to death. Now, sniper is a pesticide. Okay, it's not supposed to be used for food. This one causes paralysis. It paralyzes the body. Once it is taken, it paralyzes the body and then shuts down the respiratory system. Of course, that is death. When the body is paralyzed, it cannot move. And then the respiratory system is shut down. You cannot breathe in and breathe out. The next thing is death. This particular one is quick action. It doesn't waste time. Quick action. Now, we also have alcohol and drug combos. Okay? Sometimes people spike alcohol with sedatives. This one can cause coma, and overdose can cause death. And then sometimes people add one or two things to dog meat, to goat meat, to this and that, and then even to kai when you drink, coma. Now, do you know that people grind glass or grind razor blade and then add to people's food? grounded glass, grounded razor blade. This one is slow poison because razor blade that is grounded or glass that is grounded can never dissolve in the body. Okay, so they go and cause internal cuts. They keep cutting and damaging the internal organ slowly and slowly and slowly, and then causing bleeding at the end of it, of course, long term. So if you have not heard or seen people die of poisons, let me give you a few documented examples. In Ibadan, a woman laced her husband's food with rat poison when the man had announced plan to marry a second wife. Romance case. In Makodi, two friends drank a locally made zobo laced with battery acid. One died at the spot. In Port Harcourt, a hotel cook was caught adding pesticide to food served to a rival's guests at a wedding reception. You understand what I mean? You understand what I mean? Now, there are several reports of sniper-laced energy drinks in cities like Abuja, Lagos, Uyo, and Aba. And these ones are usually served in clubs or transport parks. Sniper-laced energy drinks. Once you ingest, the immediate symptoms can be severe poisoning, abdominal pains, frothing at the mouth, that is, you see those foams coming out, and then the person loses consciousness, and then convulsions and muscle spasms start coming in, sweating and hallucinations, and then bleeding from, when it is extreme, you start seeing bleeding from body openings from the nose, and so on and so forth. Now, some signs can be very subtle and delayed. Maybe weakness, confusion, fainting, and then gradual organ failure, internal ulcer, and then difficulty in breathing. The person's behavior may change. Now, so if you ingest poison, the question is, what happens? Please listen. Pay good attention. Once poison enters the body through food or drink, it typically follows these steps. You need to understand these steps because the type of prevention you do depends on the step at which the poison is. Okay? The workability of the antidote or the anti-poison will depend on what particular step the poison has reached. So take note of this. The first one is absorption. The poison is absorbed through the mucosal lining of the stomach or the intestines into the bloodstreams. That is the first case. Now, the absorption rate depends on the chemical nature, whether the poison is solid, liquid, or gaseous form, and whether the stomach is full or empty. Let me explain this. Now, if you are eating food, gari, eba, soup, the stomach is not empty. And then if the poison comes with that food, it may take some time for the absorption to happen because it is absorbed alongside food. And because of that, it will be easy to fight the poison if you just recognize and then terminate its effects. But if it is beer, drinks don't waste time in the stomach, and the thing is, the poison is in the liquid form, and then it enters the stomach, the possibility is that the stomach is empty, and so absorption takes place at a very fast rate. So please note that the rate of absorption depends on the chemical nature, whether the poison is solid, liquid, or gas, and whether the stomach is empty or the stomach is full. If the stomach is full, the rate reduces. Maybe you have a little time to buy around. But if the stomach is empty, wahala. Now the next thing is after absorption, distribution. The poison starts to distribute through the blood. Okay, it's transported from different organs to different organs. And then, of course, you know, to the brain, to the liver, to the kidney, and to the heart. Of course, these are the places that blood transports. And then some of the poison starts to bind to specific receptors in the body. And when that happens, it interferes with cell functions. The way the pesticide is supposed to have interfered with the function in the pests. Okay? Pesticides will disrupt neurotransmitters, those ones that transmit, those neurons that transmit signals in the body. And then after distribution, metabolism, what we call biotransformation. The liver tries to detoxify the poison using enzymes, because that is the work of the liver. The liver will try, oh, God was so good to us. The liver will try to detoxify any toxic thing that comes in. The liver will try to detoxify the poison using enzymes, often through a process called oxidation or conjugation. And then sometimes the byproducts of detoxification are more toxic than the original substance. Okay? So the liver will try to detoxify. If it can detoxify, fine. Sometimes you take poison, small doses, and then you leave. You don't even know what happens, because the liver had detoxified, and then the byproducts were not toxic. It was flushed out of the system. You can just have mild headache, mild this and now one not, and then tomorrow you are up. You take paracetamol or whatever, you are up. But when, for example, methanol, detoxification of methanol leads to a byproduct called formaldehyde, which is even more toxic than the original product. Here, it becomes a problem. Now, after detoxification, after metabolism, the body removes the poison through urine if it was in the kidney, and through feces if it was in the liver, sometimes through sweat or even through breath if it was a volatile compound. But note that some poisons cannot be excreted. Oh, so this is a very sad situation. Now, poison absorption chemistry. Let me disturb you with a little chemistry because it's important. There's what we call half-life. This is the time taken for half of the poison to be absorbed completely into the body. The time it takes for 50%, half of the poison, to be completely absorbed into the body. In other words, the time it takes for 50% of the body poison to be eliminated from the body. So, short half-life means the poison is absorbed or cleared quickly. This, that. Now, how does half-life matter? Okay? It determines how long the poison lasts. It helps decide how urgent you need to treat. It gives an idea of how long one may survive it. It influences the antidote of treatment. Now, let me tell you what half-life is in clear terms. Okay? If I want to kill you sharply, I give you a poison that has a half-life of 1 hour. If I give you a poison that has half-life of 1 hour, it means that while I put that in your drink, it means that while we are sitting and drinking, by the time it is 1 hour, half of that thing has already been absorbed by your body. So metabolism is about to start. Half. Now, by the time you realize that that has happened, in the next 1 hour, we must have left that place. And while we are trying to, another half of what was remaining has already entered. So in the next 2 to 3 hours, almost all the poison, you have taken a large percentage of the poison into the body. A large percentage of the poison has been absorbed into the body. And it may be too late to solve that problem. But if I want to give you some benefit of time, I give you the one that has half-life of 3 days, slow poison. So it means that it will take like 3 days for half to have been absorbed in the body. The liver can easily eliminate this one. But if the liver cannot, this one is also dangerous. Because you will work today, you work tomorrow, you work next tomorrow, you will not know. And when the thing starts happening, you will likely not know that you were poisoned 3 days ago. And you will likely not know who you sat with and where it happened. This is always a slow poison and a hidden poison. I am trying to expose something. So, mechanism of action, so that you can know and it's okay, this could be this poison, this could be this poison, this could be this poison. Now, sniper, which is very familiar, inhibits acetylcholinesterase, whatsoever they call it. That is this, and if it is that is associated with the nervous system, and then it takes hours to few days before the seizures and the breathing failure starts to come. This one takes hours depending on the concentration. Methanol is fake alcohol. It's metabolized to formaldehyde and formic acid, and then it kills the cells. Please note, it takes about 3 hours for methanol to kill, to start working. The first thing it does, it causes blindness, acidosis, and finally death. Rat poison. This one blocks vitamin K and then leads to uncontrolled bleeding. And then in 2 to 3 days, 2 to 7 days, it happens. Of course, rat poison, internal bleeding. Battery acid, sulfuric acid, it causes direct corrosive damage to the tissues. And then it is always rapid. Please note, acid is quick action. Burning of the mouth, throat, stomach, it keeps burning. Everywhere it goes down, it keeps burning. So this one is rapid. If you, please don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do it, please. And then cyanide, this one blocks cellular respiration and then gives no energy for production. It takes 1 minute to hour. Minutes to hour, cyanide. If you remember what we talked about cyanide in volume 1, this one causes sudden collapse and death. Sharp, quick action. What about paracetamol overdose? It causes enzyme or liver enzyme saturation and leads to enzyme failure. About 2 to 4 hours. But the toxic effect builds over 24 hours. It can be delayed, but causes deadly liver failure. When you hear that people have liver failure, let me give you a typical example. They said this man died of, all these big men that died of liver failure. Now, maid, house girl. The house girl, they call them. And this is usually the pathway, paracetamol overdose. So they keep putting paracetamol in your meal. They keep putting paracetamol in your meal. They keep putting paracetamol in your meal. And then you take paracetamol morning, afternoon, evening, night, morning, afternoon, evening, night for about 3, 4, 5 years. That is overdose. Paracetamol is not supposed to be taken like that. Before you know, the liver is tired of working on paracetamol, and then the liver failure comes. Okay? Special considerations, we have what we call organosilicates, which are fat-soluble poisons. They can accumulate in the body fat and then causes delayed or prolonged toxicity. Now, the children and the elderly often have slower metabolism. So, this thing is very risky to people who are of age 60 and above, and then of age below 6, children, and then adults, and the elderly. So poisons can act longer and more severely in them. I also said that liver and kidney disease slows down detoxification and excretion, and that also leads to prolonged half-life. Now, home management of poisoning. I'm going to give you evidence-based guidelines. Evidence-based guidelines. So I'm going to slow down because this is where the major ingredient is. Immediate steps if you suspect poisoning. The first thing is ensure safety. Before you start to assist, make sure the environment is safe for both you and the victim. That is the first thing. Call emergency services. In the US, you dial 911 or the poison helpline, which is that line. In other countries, you call your local emergency or poison control center. Local emergency number or poison control center. In Nigeria, who do you call? Do you have local emergency number in Igoregbere? Do you have local emergency number in Abriba? Do you have local emergency number in Medugri? Do you have local emergency number in Port Harcourt? Well, who do you call? Okay? Please, when you suspect poisoning, do not induce vomiting unless it is directed by a medical professional. Do not attempt to make the person vomit because this can cause further harm. We normally say, hey, let him vomit out the poison, let him vomit out the poison. No. It's not advisable. Okay? The immediate steps to take is to try to see if you can identify the poison. If you can determine what substance was involved. If you can determine what amount was involved. If you can determine the time of exposure. Okay? Well, sometimes you will see some cases of poisoning. Maybe somebody wanted to commit suicide. The person will take sniper and fall down there, and then you can come and see, oh, this is sniper. So you will now know the type of substance that was taken. Perhaps you can know when the person came in last, or when the person made a call, or when the person made a chat. That can give us an idea of how much time of exposure. And then you can check what remains. If the person drank all, that can give us an idea of the amount. So if you can see containers or packaging, maybe if it is somebody that went out to drink, when the person went out and when the person came back, what the person likes drinking, because there are certain kind of poisons that can be put in drink. There are some that if you put, you cannot put because the reaction will not allow. Now, please do not administer substances in a hurry. Okay? Avoid giving the person anything to drink or to eat unless you are instructed by a healthcare professional. But the question is, what if you are in a place where there is no healthcare professional, where there is no emergency medical line, where there is nothing, like if you are in my village? So what will you do? You need to resort to home management. What if you are in a place where there is no emergency helpline to call? What if the situation is getting worse and the person is losing strength rapidly? So you lay the person on their side to prevent choking. The laying is, the person will lie down on one side and then carry the hand like this and the leg like this. Okay? Do not give milk, oil, palm oil, unless the poison is corrosive and no antidote is available. They say, let's give him oil. Hey, they will just come and bring palm oil and pour inside the person. No. Unless it is known that the poison is corrosive and there is no antidote available around. But don't just be in a hurry to give the person milk. What you need to do is to prepare activated charcoal and administer. This can absorb some poisons if given within 1 hour. Activated charcoal. That's what you prepare and administer. Now, Let's look at how to prepare activated charcoal. This is your savior. Activated charcoal is a first-line emergency remedy for many ingested poison. Whether the poison is corrosive, whether it is acidic, whether it is rat poison, whether it is this. I am not saying that is an anti-poison, but it's a remedy. Activated charcoal. You may be familiar with this, but you may not really know how to prepare. So you can see your this thing here, your charcoal here. Okay. It works by absorbing, not absorbing, or absorbing. It stays on the surface of the toxins in the stomach and intestines and prevents them from entering the bloodstreams. You see? It stays, binds to the toxins and does not allow the toxins to enter the bloodstream. That's what activated charcoal does. Because the poisons, once it enters the bloodstreams, it starts to cause problems. So our own activated charcoal will now bind to them and prevents them from entering the bloodstream, so that they can be flushed out in the form of excretors. So how to prepare activated charcoal? The materials you need, please take note. You need a hard wood, which can come from coconut shell, which can come from bamboo, can come from oak, or even palm kernel shell. When I say coconut shell, when you buy coconut, you break it, you eat and drink the water, eat the coconut, that shell, that shell. And then the palm kernel shell, when you carry palm kernel, you break, you remove the kernel seed. Now that shell. Then you need a clean metal container with a lid, maybe an empty biscuit tin. And then you have a firewood or charcoal burner. Then you have your distilled water if available, but if not available, a clean water is okay. And then you have your calcium chloride, which is optional, but it helps to activate. It helps for better activation. Then you have your blender, or you have your mortar and pestle. And then you have a coffee filter or a very clean cloth around. So these are the materials you need. How to prepare? Please take notes. Step 1, carbonize the wood. That's burn the material. The coconut shell is burned, or the hardwood is burned in the metal container with limited oxygen. That is to say, you cover the container, but just allow a small vent for the smoke to come out. Okay. This is best done in, there's this thing they use, I should have put a picture here. There's this thing they use in burning charcoal. You can use that. That thing they use in burning charcoal to be able to prepare bole, fish, and smoked fish, something like that. Now, but let it burn slowly until it becomes charred, it becomes charcoal. I'm not saying ash, but charcoal. And then allow it to cool completely. Once it has cooled completely, the next step is to activate. Remember, we did not say charcoal, we said activated charcoal. So you crush the charcoal to become a fine powder, and then mix with a solution of calcium chloride. If you do not have calcium chloride, you can use lemon juice in water. Lemon juice. Lemon is different from limes. Lemon is different from limes. Let it be natural lemon, not the lemon mineral they sell in the market. Natural lemon juice. So you have the ratio of 2:1. So the ratio of 2:1, that means 2 of the calcium chloride to 1 of the charcoal powder. Okay, ratio of 2:1. So if you put 2 grams of the calcium chloride, you are going to have 1 gram of the charcoal powder. And then when you do that, because it is in water, the calcium chloride is in water, or the lemon juice is in water, You let it soak for 24 hours. After 24 hours, you rinse several times with clean distilled water until the pH becomes neutral. That means you need a pH meter here. Okay? You can use clean boil water if distilled water is not available. Somebody is asking, where do I get pH meter? Where do I get 24 hours to soak for somebody that is in poison? Don't worry, I'm coming there. Dry it in the sun or oven, or low. We just need low heat. We don't need very harsh heat. And store it in an airtight glass or plastic container. And then, how do you administer? You mix the powder with half to 1 cup of clean water, and then administer within 1 hour of poisoning for the best results. Okay, see the amount of powder and activated carbon to mix below. So for adults, you need 50 to 100 grams of the activated carbon powder. Remember, this activated carbon was mixed, allowed to dry, so it's now a powder. Okay, 50 to 100 grams. You mix with 120 to 240 mils of water. 120 is about the size of 3 Coke bottles. Okay, and 50 grams is about the size of 1 tablespoon. So you can have 2 to 3 tablespoons in 3 to 4 Coke bottle of water. Okay? For children between the ages of 1 and 12, you have 25 to 50 grams in that same liters of mils of water. For infants less than 1 year, you have 1 grams, or this is the body weight. You have 7 to 10 grams. That's teaspoon, half a teaspoon or so. Okay, 7 to 10 grams. So it depends on the weight of the. So you have to go and weigh your baby, Abi. Please note, activated carbon may not work for certain types of poisons. Hence, seeking medical attention is essential. Please note, activated carbon may not work for certain types of poison. So you may still need to seek medical attention. Please pause. This is science. This is this. Now let's go to the reality. Don't administer activated charcoal if the poison is corrosive, if it was an acid or a base or bleach, if it was a petroleum-based product like kerosene or petrol, if it contains heavy metal, if it was alcohol poisoning, or if the person is unconscious and can't swallow. Yes, this is the reality. I told you that you will have to put the charcoal for 24 hours to do this, that. So you may observe that you will need at least 24 hours or more to complete the preparation and use of a homemade anti-poison. So how do you do this in emergency situation? Somebody has just come and is about to buy, and then you need 24 hours. The answer is that you must prepare and store your anti-poison in your houses and prepare ahead of emergency. This is where I was coming to. Me, I'm one of those that goes out to flex once in a while, take a little beer, and then have some fun, and then come back. After all, my motto is all work and no play makes a Kmtmm double. Yeah, all work and no play. When you work. You take some time and go and play, and then blame. Now, in the process of playing, something happens, and then you come back, and everything that you have worked for is gone. And then you just wake up to find out that people are gathered around and they said you are gone, you are in the hospital, you are in the mortuary. No, because of drink. No, you check and balance now. No, He cannot can. He must not must. Okay? Cannot can. Cannot can. Cannot can. So the answer is that you must prepare and store it in your houses. I get them for my fridge. I get them for inside my car. Okay? So before I go out to drink, I shake a little and take and then go out. As soon as I come back from drinking, I open my pigeonhole in my car, remove, shake a little and drink, then drive home. There is nothing wrong in prevention. So, but the question is how to store for future emergency. Keep in an airtight glass jar sealed with plastic container. Store in a cool, dry place. Label as emergency activated charcoal for poisons only, and then keep out of the reach of children. Please note that the shelf life is 1 to 2 years. That means for you to have good potency, you have to re-prepare it after 1 year. Okay, personally I do it after 1 year. Additional tips: always shake or stir it before use, because definitely it will settle. So shake it well. You can premix some powder with water and store in a tightly sealed bottle. What that means is that this activated charcoal is solid, it's powder. So as you want to move out, what you just do is pick the quantity you need, put in a bottle, put water, shake, and carry it and go away. Sometimes the one that you are putting, you can keep it for 3, 4, 5 days before you do another one. Okay? It has smaller. If you do that and store, it will reduce the shelf life to about 3 months. But that is not a problem. You can always. Please note that homemade activated charcoal is not as potent as commercially prepared ones that are used in hospitals, but it may be useful in emergencies when no other help is available. Okay? And having heard this, why not buy a commercially prepared ones and keep at home? Especially if you are the type that drinks alcohol socially. I'm going to give you some commercially prepared variants, but let's continue with additional tips. Different woods will give different potency to the activated carbon. So the potency of the activated carbon depends on the wood that you are using. Some of the base woods are coconut shells. I had to do this research to bring it up. Palm kernel shells, bamboo, even corn cobs. When you remove the corn, you throw away the cobs. Sugarcane baggies and some hardwood trees. So thank God, bamboo is not difficult to get. Sugarcane baggies is not difficult to get. Corn cobs is not difficult to get. Palm kernel shell is not difficult to get. Coconut shell is not difficult to get. So what is stopping you from preparing your own anti-poison today? So if you would like to have more information about how to, it can be a business, yeah, it can be a business, how to prepare a commercially similar activated carbon using each of the woods above, you can contact me. You see, when you walk around, people come and give you this, nobody sells these things. So I've just opened your eyes to a business idea. And of course, as a company, as a private, get NAFDAC number, okay? Don't come and sell nonsense for us. So these are some commercially prepared activated carbon. I am not marketing them. None of them has paid me to market, okay? So I'm just giving you a picture, okay? But please do not use until a professional has given prescription. So I'm just trying to show you that there are some of them that has already been prepared and branded and and then approved. Many of them are used in the hospitals. Final thoughts: if person chop poison, activated carbon fit help stop am from spread. Okay, but no give am for person wey no dey conscious. If the person is not conscious, please don't give. If the person had swallowed acid and acid was the poison, please don't give. Okay? Prepare small and put for house with coconut shell or firewood, or just burn them small, grind them, mix them with clean water and store inside bottle. Please, when you are looking for calcium chloride, it's food grade. Food grade. We have industrial grade, we have analytical grade. You can contact me if you want to, do this. I give you more information. Okay? Please. Now, quick action with the key. I want to appreciate TETS Fund. Very, very important. Tertiary Education Trust Fund. For their sponsor that led to this part of research. Their support took me to Brazil, and this led to this part of research. I want to appreciate Federal University of Santa Catarina for hosting and giving access to their laboratory and resources. I want to appreciate all the sources from where information, images, and data were collected. And I want to appreciate you for your audience. So here are my sources: medical and toxicology authorities. I get authority from these people. Scientific and academic journals, emergency and traditional remedies, food safety and adulteration resources, African news, reports and documentaries, emergency preparedness and storage, and even online sources. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. This is where this episode ends. If you need any services that involve intensive research, laboratory tests, technical reports, presentations, my contact is here. And let me say, in the next episode, I am coming out with something. The stuffs that we carried to the lab and we have checked this, checked that, results are coming in. I am going to give you bomba to bomba. Okay? Just stay with me. Killing millions to make millions. We have to stop them. Okay? They cannot continue to kill millions to make millions. I am your regular presenter and your student-friendly lecturer, Comrade Kmtmm. Over and